but also it's so hard to leave. Wow! So good. Why am I doing this trip? I mean, there are a lot of reasons. Like, I want to make sure to be able to road trip through California and the Pacific Northwest, which we were planning on doing in the van before we had mechanical issues. I want to have like one final like dirtbag summer to sleep in my car and climb and run all day. I want to exercise my independence more. And while all those reasons are true, I think the truest one is that I just know in my gut, like, this is something I need to do. So I started in Moab. I'm making my way through the Southwest into California, up California into Oregon, Washington, going up to Canada and down through Montana, Wyoming, then making my way back to Denver. And it will be 100 days. It's a 100-day road trip.
In Moab, I got to meet up with other van friends. I think this was a key. I got to go somewhere where I was comfortable because I've been there before, but I got to do and see new things while there. Seeing friends and being so comfortable in Moab started the trip on a much needed high. This was one of the first stops that was uniquely for me, but Monument Valley was really only cool because it's so iconic. It's out of the way and there isn't much there except for the scenic drive. The next few days went downhill. I had my first taste of sleeping in a city in St. George and immediately began to feel restless. I hoped Zion would cure it.
While Zion is cool, this is technically like my third time here. I was really hoping to do Angel's Landing, which I didn't get a permit for, or do the Narrows. Like, those were the two things that I really love here. And the Narrows is closed due to the high water that you just saw there, which, as it should be. I got back to my car around like 1:30 and was like, what do I do? So I looked at Google Maps and there are 2 hot springs, maybe like 2.5 hours away from here, that I would, on the way-ish to where I'm headed next. Let's go soak in some springs. Okay, this is pretty cool. This bathtub's filled from hot springs and it is so hot and it feels so good. And that view.
I was hopeful that novelty would be the cure and that going to these hot springs would get me out of my funk. And sleeping at this hot springs really did help. After a morning soak, swapping nomad life stories.
I didn't hear any.
Oh, good.
Good dog.
In the van for 1.5 years.
And a perfect avocado, I made the long trek to my first new national park of the trip, Great Basin.
One of the like main popular things to do here is summit Mount Wheeler, but Mount Wheeler is currently covered in snow. There's a couple of short trails that I was looking at that seem like might be chill to do. There's also caves here. I might do see if I can do one of the tours.
The mountain was closed, the scenic drive was closed, and the cave tours were full. That left me to a half-mile hike round trip.
Okay, so I made it to Las Vegas today, and I got here and it was like 85 degrees, and it was literally so hot. It's nighttime now. Well, not nighttime, but the sun's going down now, so it's not as hot. Had a little panic, so I went to check to see what the temperature in Joshua Tree would be because that's way further south, and I thought it would just be like crazy hot. And it will be this week. It will be like high 90s, and then Death Valley is going to get into upper hundreds during the day. I was planning on being in Joshua Tree for 4 days and Death Valley on and off again for 3 days, and that's just not going to happen. Like, I changed my itinerary, so I'm going to be here for 4 days in Las Vegas because Joshua Tree is supposed to cool down over the weekend. But tomorrow, I have a really fun run planned. Sleeping sucked last night. It was so loud, and I just like couldn't fall asleep, and it was so hot. But I eventually fell asleep, took some melatonin, but that meant that I woke up way later than I was hoping to today. Thankfully, it's still cool in the shade. It will be a little hot in the sun, but let's go run the strip.
When traveling full-time, it's easy to not do special things, like running the Las Vegas Strip, even though that's the best part of traveling. And I kind of felt myself slipping into that. I'm not on this trip to be comfortable, though. If I wanted comfort, I would have stayed in my air-conditioned apartment with a refrigerator and queen-size mattress. I'm here for an adventure. And that next adventure started with a blistering day in Death Valley National Park. Honestly, at this point, I'm just tired of being hot. I'm tired of waking up at 4:30 a.m. just to get 80-degree weather. And I'm trying to still notice all the things I love. I don't want to be complacent amongst the beautiful spring desert with the wildflowers. I want to savor the night stars and the sun that peeks up over the mountains every morning. I want to remember the heat on my skin for when I'm cold in the mountains. And I want to wonder at the Joshua trees. But it's a choice. Wonder is always something I have to choose, and I'm always better for it.
Reading, sunset, not in a parking lot, good dinner. I feel like all this is just like the keys to my happiness. I don't know, it just feels so calm. It's like so peaceful. Content, I guess, is the word. So content here. Have a fun day tomorrow. But right now, tonight, I just feel so happy. So this spot where I'm going, described as a great place to bring people just beginning boulders, blah, blah, blah. Considering I don't have a spotter today, and I haven't been outside bouldering by myself ever, and in general in a long time, this is going to be a good warm-up spot, I think, and to get some confidence on the wall. Go try something new and be bad at stuff. Let me give you a rundown of what happened. I'm so tired that I feel like I'm about to cry. That's where I am right now. Climbed at that one area that I had planned out, and honestly, like, the climbs were just too easy there. Like, I did all 3 of them and none of them were that interesting to me. So I decided to go check out a really popular climbing area here called Hall of Horrors. There was a surprising amount of like solid climbs that looked like I could do, especially if I had a spotter. It's like, it's a beautiful Friday morning. I'm sure there's gonna be people climbing. So I get there, the parking lot is like fairly full. I can't find any of the climbs I'm looking for. And then there's also no climbers, like not even rope climbers. I was really disappointed of that because I was really hoping to like link up with some other climbers and hang out. My body isn't tired, but my mind is really tired. And so I'm kind of over making decisions. It's just that point of the trip where it's starting to get pretty lonely. Trying to climb outside has only highlighted my loneliness right now. Whew, trail run done. I'm really glad that I decided to do the early run. So trying to do an exploring day of some of the cool cities around this area, so we'll check those out too.
The movie and then book that made me fall in love with the idea of nomadic life was Into the Wild. And Slab City is featured there, and it immediately became a place I wanted to see. And in Slab City is the iconic Salvation Mountain, and it's exactly what you think it is. It's one of the first stops in Slab City, and it is a wonder to behold. This is one person's project, and he has done an amazing job of painting and constructing this whole place. It's incredible looking at it. However, once you make your way further in, you see the real Slab City. And at the far edge of it is East Jesus, one of my favorite things I've been to and seen. Each piece is uniquely made out of recycled materials, and many speak to cultural moments. They're detailed and precise, and all withstand the grueling desert. It was time to get back though. The desert is a beautiful place, but it always feels like it's trying to kill me a little.
Good morning from sunny, not quite today. It's a little cloudy, rainy today. We are in California in Laguna Beach. That is the ocean you are hearing in the back there. I'm gonna go do a little cold plunge to start this morning off because I have been really missing water being in the desert for so long.
I'm documenting this whole experience of traveling solo the best I can, and I want to post as frequently as I can, so subscribe to see how the journey turns out and everywhere I go. I'll see you next week.